Hey, good morning. Good morning, George. I am so impressed. You're looking so official. You got to him, huh, Tiff? You got to him. I
This
love it.
was all you and Joe, actually. But yeah, I like it. It looks better. It's
Yeah,
much
hey,
much
that's
cleaner.
right. You're right. Thank you for the compliment. I remember I started it, right? Let's get these backgrounds going. I like it. I love it. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, wow, I don't, it's you all know me, I was born the last of 6 children. I never got a word in edgewise, so I've been making up for it all my life. I speak at 300 mile an hour with gust up to about 700. So I'm going to try and keep it very, very methodical today because it's a powerful, powerful Soulful Wednesday. Well, that's right. We don't call it Soulful Wednesday anymore. We're calling it Mind Body Mastermind, midweek Mind Body Mastermind. But again, I'm reminded at my young, youthful age that this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And this mindset thing, this not just mindset the way we're used to hearing it, but the way that I've been going through this with you for now 2.5 years, over 2.5 years. Started out as Soulful Wednesdays, then the spiritual side of success, and now we've got the Facebook page, and I want to really build this community more and more and more. Because every day I'm just reminded how needed it is that we keep our head straight. And I'm going to tell you some stories today that are just astounding. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen. And we will, oops, I didn't do that. I have to hit share screen here. And then for those that are guests, welcome. And we're really glad that you're here and appreciate you. And, we are nothing more than agents helping agents be better agents. We are here for you, no matter what. We're broker agnostic. We are here to give, 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 give. And you'll see that as you come in and join these meetings every morning from 8:30 to 9:30. That's what we do. But anyway, this is the topic that we had last week. And when you come in to this Wednesday, it's kind of tough because it's been like a 2.5 year trail, but I give you a link to all of these, okay? And I keep them going intentionally. This is, if you just follow these slides and do all the personal development exercises that I had on these, watch out, and all the resources to accomplish what we really want to accomplish, and that is that battle of the B's. And George is so proud of me because I added a B to my belief system, and I call it bullshit, George. I know you like that. So, but the battle of the B's, the bullshit and belief systems, and the belief systems of fear and lies versus brightly, beautifully, bountifully, blissfully, which is love and truth. That's what love and truth is all about. So if you're new, if you want to take a photo of this, this is going to lead you over to a Google Drive where this stuff resides. And after the meeting's over, we're going to post a video in there as well if you want to invite friends, because you're going to hear some things today that you're definitely going to invite family members and friends to pay attention to. So let's go ahead and get going and talk about the battle of the B's, the battle of the bullshit and belief systems, the fear and lies versus brightly, beautifully, bountifully, and blissfully. And again, as I said, I'm reminded on a daily basis that how much this is needed hour to hour to hour. To give for the guests, I want to come down here to this slide where we'll be spending all of our time on again, and that is, you can't live a life that's worth living without courage. And the word cur in Latin is heart. And every single one of us on this call, everybody you meet, the person who cut you off in traffic, the person who was nasty to you, it's all rooted in the fact that our heart has been picked away at one way or another. And you're going to hear some very serious stories this morning about how that affects. A famous psychiatrist once said, no one murders unless they've been murdered. No one's in a bad mood unless they've been treated with a bad mood sometime in their life. So on and so forth. So for the guests, this is where what we want to do is get people to live not here where we've been programmed to live, but live here. Just a real quick overview. Again, my understanding after this walk of 68 years is that this is the way we really came off of this assembly line. We got here this way, but we got programmed this way. We came as a spirit. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. This is the way we were full of. This is what we got programmed with. And because of certain actions that happen in our life along the way, we then reside over here in the ego side, defense, attack, defense, attack, defense, attack. You're going to be hearing a story of someone in prison for 20 plus years due to things that happened in childhood, but how long it took her, not that 20 years wasn't enough, and 2 years more after being released, she still could not be released in her head. And a lot of us have our self-imposed prisons. Matter of fact, if you remember, over the years, we've talked about this, right? Over a couple of years, where when you're in the ego, you're a prisoner of self. When you're in the soul, when you're over on this side, you're a participant of life. So again, today, I want to try and get us all to be participating at our fullest capacity. And remember, just the basics again, you don't achieve these. This is who you really are already. It's this here, that uniqueness, that you, the real you, the you were sent here with, the you that the source. This is all from the source. I'm more comfortable calling it God. If you're more comfortable calling it universe, source, whatever you want to call it, you could call it Allah, you could call it whatever you want to call it, but we all know we have that source from whence we come. It's that music that cries from within that calls us to that higher level. Every single person, I've never met one person yet in my life that said, I don't want peace. That's the whole goal of all of us, is peace. So just to remind us, this is all about living on this side and always working over here, because this will follow. My favorite illustration is Robin Williams, who all his life, he worked over here and it wasn't enough. It's just not enough. But when you're over here and you're the thermostat in life where you control everything, you get to that point in your life, nothing could ever rock your world. Nothing could ever change your peace of mind. You are peaceful within no matter what is going on in the outside. And that's what you're going to hear today, how that happens. And I'm astounded what it takes to do that. So when you click this link where you're going to go, and we keep improving this, and we're making it a master. This is where you'll go. You'll go to this folder. For the guest, this is the SMOS folder. SMOS standing for situation, mission, objectives, strategies, and tactics. I have a 5-year business plan here I did in 1990 for my group I was serving. I created a lot of millionaires, including myself, multimillionaires, with that 5-year plan. I now do it a 3-year plan with people. But again, this is not about setting some goals, because goals in themselves sometimes hold us back by we're setting goals instead of a vision for our life, because our mind thinks in pictures, right? So let me go here. The first thing you do when you come here, I want you to register, because I really want to create this community, and thank all of you who are doing this, and do it again and see how you can help. I was at a realtor event last night. I'm sitting there talking with Lydia. Lydia, are you on? Just say if you are, say hello. Lydia, no, not okay. So Lydia and I, oh, hey there. We're sitting at an event. Good to see you. And a person walked up and he says, hey, Fred, how are you? So I asked him in the back, he looks at Lydia, he says, he's my accountability partner. And I looked at him and said, hey, yeah, how are you? How are you? And I'm thinking, when was I his accountability partner? And he says, yeah, blah, 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 blah. He said, we went to Haiti together. And I said, oh my gosh, who is it? Who is it? And he says, yeah, he says, you probably don't recognize me, do you? 150 pounds less. Chris, are you on the call? He wasn't sure whether he's going to be able to join up, but I'm having him on as a guest. 150 pounds less. By finally, I thought he gave up on all the things that I was trying to do with him and hold him accountable and all. And he disappeared on me. but he shows up at a point in my life when I needed that encouragement that, oh my gosh, helping and working with people, it always pays off because they eventually get that love for themselves and they get back over there. So when you come in here, this is where you're going to go. Today, I'm going to have some of the things I'm going to share with you. This is Frank McKinney. A lot of you have been on my calls, know Frank McKinney, multi-million dollar, 15 million and above custom home builder, all on spec. He's a rock star. He retired, but let me play this little clip here for you. This is called Real Estate Breakout.
Man, I really miss it. My artistry, creating, designing, marketing, promoting, the grand unveilings. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
And today's the day that we announce the grand unveiling for my final masterpiece.
Meet a builder who's given big a whole new meaning.
McKinney is unafraid. He seems to be taking the biggest risk imaginable with his approach to real estate.
Now, I share that with you because I want to tempt you to go back and watch it. Frank retired. He announced his retirement 2 years ago after building 40 plus homes, averaging 15 million and above. He's built hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of villages, houses in Haiti for the poorest of the poor. I've been there with him on that trip. I'm a big part of his organization called the Caring House Project. I really would like you to get involved with the Caring House Project if you find it in your heart to do so, but watch his story. Here's a man that is a 7-time best author seller. He just finished the book Aspire about a year ago. You look at Frank, he is the epitome of the most wonderful, successful human beings you've ever met. Very, very wealthy, very, very healthy, ran Badwater races. Read his story. Married to the same woman, great family, great community guy, everything you could put in a box, but yet he tells you over and over and over again, he is constantly in here, coming back and forth. And here he retired 2 years ago. Here's a guy that's been teaching goal setting and all these other things all his life. And he had a plan and he was going to go and he said he was in prison because and when I sat in the movie theater, he's bringing out a whole movie on this. This is just 11-minute introduction, but he said, I was in prison. Now I deal with people in prison all my life, right? You're going to hear a story this morning, but we're all in prison when we're over here. And Frank, that retirement, he admitted it was confusing, right? Here he was a master at writing books on gold mines, but yet he was working with a monkey mind when he decided to retire. And now that wasn't a mistake either, because now he's going to be able to even share more with all of those that follow him. Again, how to remind ourselves to come back. So these people that write these things and talk, they're not experts. They're practitioners. So don't get discouraged. I'm going to tell you a story by the end here. Stick it out. That is going to blow your mind of why it's a marathon of a personal story. So let me bring my first international guest on. And let me stop share just for, and by the way, in the docs, okay, in the docs, our next guest, okay, Anastasia Pitanova, one of our very own. And Anastasia was, they said, hey, Fred doesn't volunteer work. You ought to share some of the stuff you're doing with him. We ended up doing a full interview here on my channel, the Inside Out Agent that I'm just developing. So, but you're talking about a story. Let me go back. I meant to show you this. Well, you know what? Let me stop share because I want to bring Anastasia on. What happens is that when these controls and then you lose this share, my controls get out of the way here. Let me do this. Here we go. Stop share. All right. Where's Anastasia? There she is. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too. And happy to be on the call as a speaker this time.
You know what? What'd you say?
No, I'm saying happy to be on the call as a speaker this time.
Oh, yes.
As a guest. No, we cannot hear you.
The volume is crackling a little bit. Okay. So Anastasia and I, Anastasia's with our group. Jessica Baskey's was the one that is her business partner, direct business partner. And Anastasia, I want to share with you some of what I do. And when I saw what she did in artwork, and then I heard the story behind it, how she was kind of imprisoned in herself with a crisis going in her life. And then she found art. But Anastasia, you want to share, because I put the full 25-minute interview we did in that link, but you want to share with them, you know, the mini version of that and what led you to that, and going back to that chart that I share, how you were so, you know, I would say imprisoned, if you will, over here on this side, and what took place and what happened and what got you to the point. And I'm going to share that one. But you know that you were over here and hopeless, and then what happened?
Yeah, it was amazing to be able to share this right now, because 5 years ago I was so ashamed and so scared of what was going on with me. I didn't understand how in the world those thoughts and those actions can happen to me. Loving mother, you know, loving woman, and I was going through the crisis, like personal crisis, divorce, and all the beauty stuff that's coming out of this, all the emotions and feeling lost and feeling hopeless. And I got to the point where I was very emotionless, was planning to do the suicide, but at the same time, it was so weird to notice. It's like two people talking at the same time in my mind. One person is planning things to happen, sending kids to the grandparents, and another person is talking in my own mind, asking maybe there is another way, maybe, you know, you try more, one more step. It was a constant battle for about 2 months, until I felt from the within that I want to start creating, I want to start painting. And I truly believe that saved my life, and it transformed my life on all the levels. And I became so passionate about this work, and I start sharing this with people, and I start teaching people how to heal themselves through creative expression. And I got connected to a beautiful woman that became my girlfriend. We are very good friends. She was going through the same thing. And her creative expression was writing, and she was writing books and poems and stories. And we got together on that level of understanding each other's pain, and we create a lot of different projects together. One of them is Voices of Angels, an art show and fundraiser that we collaborated with MWNA. Beautiful organization, Mental Wellness Network Alliance, that's actually here local, created by Coral Springs Mayor. And the reason for creation of this organization is actually to support people, to bring people together to the safe environment where people can share their stories, release the pain, and be understood and supported. So the show was on May, and it was extremely successful. We raised $20,000. We had a lot of artists participated, and the main message is how to create healing in your life using creativity, either it's a music or it's art or it's creative expression through writing. So that's the biggest passion of mine, where I share this with people, specifically women, because I understand women, like, because I am a woman going through the different stages, and I can understand what a lot of women, especially mothers, going through. So with Fred, we connected on one particular story when my girlfriend, I'm sharing this publicly because she's writing stories about it and she's been talking about it. So there is no, there is a permission to speak about it. She wrote a story about a woman that want to commit a suicide. Now, that happened before we even knew each other. And this woman has taken her baby and going to the bathroom and trying to kill herself and her baby. And the story is about what's going on in her mind at that moment. So I connected to the story so much when we met that I created this piece that Fred is sharing with you. It's a pain of a woman that doesn't understand what's going on with her. She loves her baby, and at the same time, she hates her life and she cannot move forward anymore. So that's a creation for this particular story. And this is where basically our connections start developing. And now we're expanding this project, internationally. We want to create different books, these different stories of different people. And this way, create a wave of healing and connection and understanding that we all one. There is no shame. There is no nothing wrong with you of feeling one way or another. It's just a feeling and emotion that needs to be healed, released, and feel true. And when Fred shared with me the story of a woman that actually was in such the same situation and same feelings, I understood that there is so much work to do around it. And I think we all need to bring this to the surface, to start a conversation about everybody's mental troubles and the level that we're talking about our physical troubles. Everybody talking about high blood pressure or diabetes or things like that, it's normalized. But talking about depression and emotional struggles, it's not normalized. People feel ashamed, people feel alone, and people feel so lonely in a level that they want to kill themselves, and they actually do that. So MWNA, an organization that I'm active part of, and that's we create of different fundraisers in the bandwidth. This is the main actually vision for them, is to normalize mental wellness conversation, and bring this to the schools. I am a mother of 2 boys. Now they are all the high school and middle school. And this work, being an artist specifically for me, I can say just transform our family life, our relationship, transform them. And in a way, they are very strong mentally, physically, and they know how to deal with themselves and how to go to the left side of the chart. To the right side of the chart instead of to the left. And this is not, you saying, Fred, it's a battle. I would say it's not a battle. It's a creation. Each moment you're choosing, and you're just aware what is going on with me right now. After our conversation several months ago, when you told me, Anastasia, focus on what's right with you, I will never forget that. Every time it's a down moment, every time I stop and I ask, what's right now? What's right in my life? And that changes everything. So that's a short version of a big experience, and that's still happening. And I invite everybody who is connected to connect to MWNA, to me, to talk about this more, on what we do, how we do it. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of goals and vision for for Voices of Angels. And yeah, that's all. That's about it.
It is MWN, the one that did the auction, right? The what is it?
MWNA is the organization, WNA, Mental Wellness Network Alliance.org.
And then anybody in South Florida, the local, but they're doing things all over. But what's really incredible about this, folks? Now you may be saying, "Hey, Fred, we're in a real estate training here, and this is supposed to be a mastermind on business." Folks, this is business. This is business of life, because no matter what level we're on, like I'm working with one of our own, and he came right out on our mastermind on Facebook, which is, by the way, it's on here. The link is on here. To the mastermind. I posted a thing about weight, about body, because your body, the current condition of your body, is an illustration of what's going on in your soul. There's a question about it. When the guy walked up to me last night and said, "Yeah, you don't recognize me. I lost 150 pounds, Fred. Thank you." I almost fell over. And so what's really interesting, how does this happen? And when you don't think we're connected, that's why I say this is not about exclusivity in life. No one can claim an exclusivity in any belief system, in any personhood or anything else. We're not exclusive. The ego is exclusive. The soul is inclusive. Is that when Anastasia, when we're talking, I literally on our interview, I mean, what she just told the story again, I teared up, because when you think about how could I be involved in this here, in this organization here 22 years ago, and understand that in America, every 8 days a mother takes, someone needs to be muted, every 8 days in America, a mother will take the life of her children. Every 8 days in America. How did I come into this? And I'll tell you that in a second. I'm going to tell you our other guest that, you know, and where that went. But when I got on with Anastasia and I read this, and this was that woman's life. That was that woman's life. And it was a suicide murder. They were discovered, and the son was deceased. She was unconscious. And there's so much behind that story. And I have to be very candid, is that for the 20 some years I worked on this, and I didn't have all this definition because I had my own stuff to figure out going inside, as Anastasia knows. It didn't happen until 6 years ago, right? After I lost everything, and a daughter 36 and a marriage and a $5 million and all blah, 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 blah. And I would never trade anything back for what I found. And that is really understanding this, how to awaken this, not awaken it, how to get rid of all this so you have this. And this is what Anastasia is talking about. So when you go back and you come to the realization and the names that in the courtroom 22 years ago, evil, demon, devil, killer, murder, blah, 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 blah. No one murders unless they've been murdered. And we didn't discover until that person and I did a 3-hour one-on-one interview, because as A Course in Miracles says, above all else, I wanted to see. I didn't understand it. I believe in the death penalty. So, I had a brother that spent his life in prison for 28 years for a double homicide. And I still believed in the death penalty. But the system's bigger than I. Just because I may believe in it, the word believe itself is a trap, is a prison sometimes. So I'm glad it didn't exist for this woman, because when you hear her life now and what she's doing, it's incredible. So Anastasia interviewing is a full interview is on that sheet. You can listen to that. Please get involved with Anastasia and her artwork and that entire organization. What a worthy cause. I am so, I've been struggling how to deal with getting the message out for many years on mental health issues, and why I was called into it when I'm not formally educated in that area. This is something I started and still just in the beginning stages, but now people like Anastasia have come in, people like Frank McKinney, and all these people are starting to come in, and then I was out of the brokerage business 3.5, 4 years ago doing my development, but because of the EXP family here, I got back in, and this awoke in everything, the spiritual side of success. So this is so big, folks. It's incredible. So Anastasia, namaste. Thank you so much. And then now let me talk about our other guest. It was decided that for her protection is that this website, I'm going to tell you how I met this other person. And that other person, I was on a radio program about 24 years ago, sharing my personal story of coming from a crisis family and what have you, and how I rose above it. And I thought, I was, into psychology. I was into understanding the workings of the mind, NLP, all these other kind of things. And I didn't realize how much I didn't know. So a psychologist was interviewing me for his radio show. And he said, Fred, how do you pull that off? How do you do that with your sexual abuse, this abuse, that abuse? Your brother died in prison, blah, 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 blah. Your 8th grade education, yet you've made it to the top of your business. At that point, I was very, very much, a couple hundred units I owned and very successful real estate office, very successful hotel, blah, 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 blah. So I said, well, look, it's pretty simple. I said, a mentor of mine taught me a long time ago, most people, their problem is they'll hit their head on the coffee table when they're 2 years old, 3 years old, and they'll take that coffee table, put it on their back, carry it around with them the rest of their life. And they'll just say, when people go, what are you doing carrying that coffee table around? They go, well, you don't understand. I hit my head on it when I was little. So I just wanted to remind myself never to hit my head again. So what a wise psychologist he was. And he looked at me and he said, Fred, but what do you do with the people who didn't pick the coffee table up, but someone else put it on their back and they wrapped chains around with them and locked them with heavy steel padlocks and threw the key away? What do you say to people like that? And he started telling me about a client who was at the very top of society, very top of everything, is Anastasia. Look at her. Does she look like she has any problems? When you talk to her, she's articulate. She's smart. She's intelligent. She sells a lot of real estate. People love her. You would meet her on the street and you would be jealous of her. But yet, we're all the same, folks. You said it, Anastasia. It's so beautiful. We're all one. So he tells me about this client. So when it was over, because he heard I was involved in prison work all my life because of my personal situation, my brothers, blah, 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 blah. So he said, can you help a client of mine? She's going to prison for 20.5 years. She's being sentenced 3 months from now. Can you help prepare her for prison life? And I said, what are you talking about? Well, when I met this person, I thought I was going to meet somebody because of when I heard what her crime was. And I thought I was going to meet someone from the street or whatever. I was blown away. But I am always seeking to see. So I got into this and I started understanding every 8 days in America that a mother will take the life of their children. These are not evil people, folks. These are people who were so programmed on the other side. They were so programmed, they had no choice. Like Anastasia said, she almost did the same thing. But 21 years later, I meet Anastasia, and her painting is this woman's story that I had lived with for the last 22 years. And I'll have to tell you, it was very painful sticking it out, because can you imagine incarcerated 20 years, how many times she lived here all the time in there because she was still that prisoner. She couldn't be free. Now, she constantly challenged me. But as the Course says, the Course in Miracles says, we only become healed when we help others to heal. Many times I thought it was in vain, the visits, the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fees and care and help. I thought it was in vain. Many times I was doubting, what am I doing? But I kept staying over here going, wait a minute, she deserves love. She deserves cooperation. She deserves forgiveness. She only had one family member, but mom and dad had been deceased. She had one brother that were close when they were younger. When she committed the crime, he had nothing to do with her. He cut off all communication for the entire 20 plus years, would never answer a letter, would never let any relative contact him regarding her. She kept her best trying here, and I kept trying to keep her over here. It was tough. tough. After she was released, it got tougher. You would think once, and she had this illusion once the bars would open up that she would be free, but she still wasn't free. So she wasn't able to be on this call, even though we had planned it, because she needs to stay in protection. She still wasn't able to be free. The last 4 months, there's been a breakthrough that where she's been staying over here. She started the email communication back up. No answers again from her one and only relative, her brother, who's very well off, by the way, very successful business person, living in another country from her. She lives outside of this country. On Saturday, I got a call. She said, Fred, are you sitting down? And I said, I don't need to sit down. I said, tell me what? I thought, because I thought, is she back over here again? Because since she's been out, she's been back over here many times, very seriously so. She said, Fred, everything we talk about for the last 22 years has finally worked. Her brother got back in touch with her, started the communication, and she shared an email. And the email went as follows. Thank you so much for never giving up on me. My wife and I finding closed a budget for you to buy a house and buy your car, cash. Love broke through. This is real, folks. Now you may be saying, man, what is this? I thought we were in a business. This is all business. It's the business of life. It's real. It's real. So you're talking about a major breakthrough. Now, some of you may be saying, Fred, I am struggling over here. Damn, if someone bought me a house and a car, all cash, I'd get over here really quickly. If that's what you're thinking, you gotta really keep practicing. But I was blown away. I mean, I'm talking total 21 years of silence, telling other relatives to stop contacting. He cut off all relatives. He was so shameful of what had taken place. Folks, this is powerful stuff, powerful stuff. And the people that have come in my life, that are just doing this, it's just incredible. So I just got a text. Hold on one second. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to bring this person up in a second. But like Sunny, taking us through that brain amping that she did the last couple of weeks. And then we had Dr. Mark Levinsky on the living course. That's in that reference as well. All these resources. And then Ro is going to come on here second and speak to this, why these belief systems keep us going and hold us back here, right? But what I want to get across, whatever your prison is, and let me go here. We came off this line here, but the soul, we got to keep in mind why mindset is like, the soul can only work with the spirit mind. This over here is the parent mind, the ego mind. The soul mind, that's the only way that, so these emotions, and Ro is going to speak to this in a second. This can't drive the train. Only the experiences, this, whatever happened here needs to feed this to keep their life going. And this is what Anastasia is doing through her art. She's tapped that real thing that's inside. Again, you don't accomplish this, you come back and you claim it because you have it already. And this is the only place you're going to ever feel at home and in heaven. Over here, it's always you're feeling homeless and in hell. So this is, you want to be a very successful business person, you keep doing this. Jim Rohn, work harder on yourself, then you do your business, and then your business will take care of itself. Work harder on yourself than you do on trying to work on your spouse, and your spouse and your relationship will take care of itself. Your children, your life, your savings account. It's all the same when you work over here. So anyway, go to that Google Doc for those references. Now, let me go back over there just quickly, and I want to talk about Ro. And Ro, are you there? Where are you? Did she have to jump off? Ro, are you here? Let's see. Oh, I thought she was on. Okay, Ro, you there or no? Let's see, I don't see her. Row your boat. Are you on? Let me see. Are you on? If so, you're muted. Do you see anybody see Ro? Doot, 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 doot. Okay. All right. So anyway, Ro is one of our own. She is the wife of Mr. Pink, we call him, from Vegas. There he is, Ryan. Where's Ro? She's just going to pop in. So anyway, Ro is here. Let me give you the. I'm going to give you her references. Let me go back over here to the Google Doc. By the way, folks, this is such a resource. And then her other website, I forgot to put that. Let me do this. www. Ryan, will you text her, see if she's able to get on? Anyway, Ro took me through this yesterday, a 2-hour exercise. And the whole point of it is that where you take all the emotional stuff, the different emotional things, fear, shame, guilt, sadness, all the 7 major emotions that are from our life. And then what you do, you go back and you start finding what is the experience that you got from them and how can you use that experience instead of the emotion. And this could be on a daily basis. Go through the emotion, feel the emotion, but don't let it drive your train. Take the experience from the emotion you're going through and go to the mind. Anastasia said this to me the other day and it just thrilled my heart. She said, Fred, when we're talking about this meeting, she said, I got to tell you, I'm going to boil it down to one thing. That one point you make is that the ego always says there's something wrong with me, but the soul always says there's something right with me. She said, I can't tell you on a daily, was it daily basis you said, or weekly basis, Anastasia? It saves you. Weekly, daily, hourly?
Every other day.
Every other, well, good for you. It's for me, it's hourly. I got to say it hourly. There's something right with me. But anyway, so what this exercise that Ro can take you through is to help you take all those 7 emotions that ruin our life, that keep us over here. And she will take you through of going back, in a very quiet state and go. It was incredible. The 2 hours just flew by, but understanding what those emotions was, the event that triggered them, but then get above the events. And then what you do is you feel that emotion, but then take that emotion and create and convert it to an experience. So then the next time that emotion comes up from something that's similar is that you then use the experience and not the emotion, which then puts your mind in control. Okay. And that you get back to the original blueprint and that you can live over here. Make sense? And then Sunny, you on the call? Is Sunny able to make it today?
I am.
There she is. So in here, we have Sunny's reference for you. Sunny's done such a great job with us already. Miss Sunshine herself. And by the way, Sunny, the reports I'm getting back, a number of you have engaged Sunny for your personal coach, and the reports I'm getting back are astounding. So she does on here, she does a 15-minute free and meet you and what have you. She has some events coming up. Look at her website. But Sunny, I know with you, all this resonates, correct?
Yes, totally.
Do me a favor, Anastasia, look at the camera. And Sunny, you look at the camera. You both smile. Both smile. Look. Now, look at these 2 women, folks. Are they not the perfect women? No problems. Boy, I'm jealous of them. They're so wonderful. Sunny did the same thing Anastasia went through. Hell.
Yeah.
Hell. Same thing I went through. Something all of us go through, but we don't bring it out. And that's why I love that organization, that one that Anastasia talked about, where they're bringing mental health during that charity auction, which, by the way, I was given the privilege of being the host auctioneer. Thank you. The stories of the people, their children who committed suicide, and how only if they would have known, and because their children were so over here and they couldn't help them, and it was too late. But they talked so openly without shame. It was unbelievable. And Sunny's brain amping, folks, really is, I mean, what it done for me and that one dream I shared last week as a result of it. So you got these resources, you got these two women here. If we can find Ro, we're going to have her pop in. So what I'm going to do, I know, again, all this is in that Google Doc. Joe, if you'll share that link again, just as a clickable link. And I'm hoping that you get involved. I am revamping Troubled Women. It's been so dormant because I've been waiting for the healing to take place of the person who helped me build that website 22 years ago before she went to prison for 20 and a half years. We built that in about a 2-day period. It's a memorial to all the children every 8 days in America, folks. Every 8 days. So we need to all be light. We all need to practice this to heal other people. So I'm going to stop this. I hope you go to those resources and take advantage of all those. And I'm here for you. My calendar link is everywhere. For those of you, is Chris on today with us, Nelson? You know, look at Mind Body Mastermind. He's battling his weight, 340 pounds. I think it is now 330. We had a great session. He's going to be working on that. And then this guy shows up last night all of a sudden because Chris is really struggling, Chris Nelson. And now this guy shows up. Guess what the guy's name is that just lost 150 pounds? Chris. And I was hoping he could be on this morning, but I don't think he was able to. He told me may not. Yeah. So Chris Durson.
I'm here, buddy.
Oh,
Yo, my friend, there he is. There he is. Chris. We didn't even get
What's
a chance
up,
to
buddy?
talk last night. It was so long, it was so noisy last night. But the other gentleman that's in the mastermind group on Facebook that I invited you to last night, he's Chris also, but now, isn't that amazing? So he's in that situation you were in. Tell him your story quickly, my friend, by getting over onto the right side.
Basically, I just couldn't, I was just defeated. So I basically, one day, I was talking to some girl on the phone and I said, I'm done with being heavy. She goes, well, then you got to do something about it. I said, yeah, I know. So fast forward, that night I got on a treadmill and I dedicated 1 hour a day to walking. And I pretty much dedicate all my weight loss to walking because it cleared my mind. And the video that you have on your website, which I watched last night about walking, is so true. So I started walking. First 45 days, I started melting the weight off. 7 days a week, no matter what, rain or shine, I was out there walking. Actually, I started on a treadmill because I was too ashamed to go out in public. So I got on a treadmill. And then I started to go outside and walk with other people. And I stopped eating fast food. My biggest problem was fast food. So I was loaded with sodium. So every time that I put it in my body or any kind of liquid, it would just fill me up. So the first 45 days, I started melting off and I started to see it. So I gave my friend a call and I said, buddy, I need some help working out. He goes, sure, no problem. Meet me at the gym tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So I got there at 3 o'clock. I walked the hour, went outside in the parking lot, took off all my clothes because they were soaked to the bone, changed my clothes, went back in, started working out. My body was just aching. What?
You broke up a little bit. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I started to get in an hour early before the gym with my friend. And then I started working out with him. And then when he wasn't around, I invested in paying a trainer. And that's where I started to learn how to work out with weights because I thought that I would just, push the weight, carelessly and thought that I was really doing, the workout. But the actual workout, all I was doing was making myself prone to getting hurt. So I learned how to have more patience with working out.
You should see this guy, folks. He walked in. I didn't know him. And by the way, I was his accountability partner from a Frank McKinney event. And I said, man, I'll be your accountability partner. We only had one meeting. And he was busy doing some other stuff, and I don't know whether we lost connection or you ran from me. I forgot what happened.
Both.
Yeah, we went to Haiti together, right? With Frank McKinney, and I didn't recognize him. He said, "Oh yeah, we went to Haiti." I went, let me see, who? Well, how much? 150 pounds less, right?
Yeah, well, 130, almost 130, 127 I lost. One year. 1 year.
You should see this guy.
And I'm jacked. And I'm jacked.
I love it. Anyway, man, thank you, brother. I love you, man. Thank you so much. I'm so
That was
proud of
awesome.
you.
Yeah, man, I'm just killing it.
I'm so proud. Now,
every
let me
day.
ask you a question. Anastasia said that the point where she was, where it was not worth living that way. How many times were you at that point when you let your body take over? How many times?
As far as
Not wanting to live.
20, 30 times, a lot.
Yeah.
I just kept on. I was giving up. I was to the point of, I was questioning suicide. Because not literally hanging myself, but what I mean by suicide is just continuing to eat. I went to an age management place. They checked my blood. I was destroyed. My blood counts were so bad that the doctor told me, listen, you're a ticking time bomb. My blood pressure was high. Everything was high. And then after 6 months, I went in, I dropped 100 points across the board on everything. My blood pressure, everything just dropped. So my only advice to anybody that really wants to lose weight is to not go to fast food restaurants and walk
Look
at least an hour a day.
You know, Chris, and now listen, you talk about connection, folks. I didn't do this until, remember, I started this only a few months ago, right? Because I did the same thing. That's what I discovered, not just for my weight, because I've always fairly had that under control with my diet and all, and with my training and nutrition through integrative health nutrition. But the walking between the mind, body, and getting that heart, mind in sync. And remember, we started this, and I was doing 101,000 steps a week, right? Which is 51 miles. And it was phenomenal, that experience that I went through. And I tell you, I don't care if it's 101,000 steps in a month, but get started like Chris did. So anyway, man, thank you so much. And I want to allow some time for some questions. Let me stop share here. Please go to the reference in there that Joe put in the chat, or if you took a picture of that, because all that stuff is there. Chris, I want you to stay involved with us, and I want you to help the other Chris that's in our group that I'm going to connect you to, man. And then, by the way, go sign the registry, everybody, and say, hey, I'm here, I can help. And Chris, if you want, not now while you're driving, go in there, put your information in their contact so people can contact you for some encouragement, because that's the whole point of this mastermind. So let's open it up. I know we're kind of running
Hi,
close
Fred.
Hey, go ahead.
Hi.
Tanya.
Hi, guys. I am Tanya. I'm Tanya Moore. I'm with EXP. I came through with Fred. Really quickly, I want to talk about Sunny. I met Sunny at the Brent Cove seminar, which was absolutely amazing. And I wasn't on the call that Wednesday when Sunny did the meditation. So after meeting her on that Saturday, I did the meditation Sunday morning. And after I did the meditation, oh my God, I have never was completely in a state where my brain was completely still and quiet. So I had to call her. So she answered the phone on a Sunday. She answered the phone call, and we went, we talked about the meditation. And you got to remember, like Fred says, the things that we think about are on our left side brain that we were taught. And then the things that we need to reprogram our mind is on the right side. I always did my affirmations. I did meditation, but not to the extent what I did with Sunny. So from that Sunday to Sunday, I meditate. I went over the recording every day. I mean, I'm absolutely in the best state of mind that I haven't been in since a long time. Sunny came to my house on Sunday, brought everything over, and I did Sonny gave me a Sonny, you could chime in. She gave me a
I gave you a sound tune up.
sound to back, right?
No.
So
Yep.
yeah, so I hear those tones in my mind repeatedly. So what I'm trying to say is she cut off the brain, the left side with the negativity. I forgave myself, and I'll have no reason to forgive myself for anything else from that day forward. And in my mind, she reminded me of who I am. And I can hear her. I am a great real estate broker. I am a great mom. I am a great, just everything positive. And it's just so amazing, guys. Meditation, first thing in the morning before I feel bad for my dog. I have to get up extra early because I don't even walk him outside because it sets the tone for my day. And
Yeah.
every day I'm in, like it's like you hope your day be good. When you meditate, you know your day is going to be good because you state your intention on what is happening in your life. And it's not just BS, it's real.
It's changing the BS. It's changing the belief system. But now, Tanya, here's the problem, though. See, you're very highly successful. You're well off. You're wealthy, and you don't have a lot of issues in your life, so it's easy for you, right?
No, it's not. I have a lot. No, that's
single mom, lost everything she did during COVID. She built a brokerage business. COVID came along. She had this great idea. She was going to be this successful, and COVID killed her. She's struggling to pay her rent. I'm just going to be let's talk real.
Yes.
And so she had to go here to hell to try to, and listen, folks, this is not, look, I know sometimes because of our belief systems, and I'm an expert in theology too, trust me. This has nothing to do with theology and belief systems. This has to do to quiet this stuff over here so this can come out. What meditation does is raises this so this can come down here.
Well, it gets you to relax. I'm in a state of not. I'm in a state of knowing, and it's not about
seeing.
And you ask questions, and the questions come. But before I did the meditation, my mind was consistently battling, like you say, backwards and forward. I no longer have that. I don't have to battle with anything because my mind is the brain waves slow down, and I can go, calmly back to we are supposed to be in.
Yeah, you're breaking up some, but let me allow room for more questions. But Tanya, thank you for sharing that. Okay. Sonny, thank you. But I wanted to address that because last week a couple of people, because they weren't comfortable because of some belief systems they have, and I respect that. But what you have to understand, a universal theology is not possible, but a universal experience that Tanya is talking about is possible. That is what the Course in Miracles teaches, is that a universal experience of love is possible, but a universal belief system of theology is not possible. Just because you may not be comfortable at first, and if you don't feel that meditation fits your certain belief box, then don't do it. But don't take it from others that maybe they shouldn't, because this has all to do about love and about quieting this mind down. It's not because someone was real comfortable because it has its roots in Hinduism, but it's okay if you're not comfortable. But many people discovered, myself included, if you were to try to do this with me, I have to admit, 15 years ago, I would have shoot it. I mean, whoa, no, that's outside my box. I'm too comfortable in my little box. So if you're comfortable in your box, you stay there. And if that works for you, and you're happy and you're healthy and you're wealthy, and in your box, stay there. There's no one asking you not to stay in that box. I just wanted to bring that up because that's really important, because when Tanya's sharing her experience, I have people share experiences with me that they believe that that's in somewhat reincarnation. Now I'm not there. I don't feel that. I've never had those experiences, but I have one person that I highly respect, highly love, highly adore, highly everything. And when I hear that story that she's had, where why she feels that there's numbers of times around, I respect her story. I respect the fact that she's from source like I am, and we are one. And in the same way, if you're comfortable calling this Allah versus God or Jesus or whatever, I'm good with that because God is big enough. The source is big enough. Divine intelligence is big enough. Divine integrity is big enough to encompass it all. But we got to quiet this down. And that's what Tanya finally did. So let me leave it open for questions. Let me look at the chat. Okay, Carrie, go ahead. You have your hand raised. And by the way, raise your hand. Thank you, Carrie, for doing that.
So, Mark Levinsky, the Living Course, I've been involved with them since 2006. And it's an amazing organization. And I just want to say the one thing that I really got out of this, the Living Course and all of this, is that what happened to you as a child, and like you said about bringing the coffee table around with you, it's not who you are. It's what happened to you. But it's not who you are. And you have to go back sometimes to your own child, your 4-year-old that was beaten, and tell her, I'm here now and I'm going to make you safe. And then once that 4-year-old is safe, then you feel better and you feel protected. And I think that you can go on.
Carrie, were you on the meetings when one of our agents went through the Living Course?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. I have that as a reference in the Google Doc, the Living Course. That was the foundation of me coming out of my 5-year loss of everything you can imagine. And I had reached the pinnacles with all the head knowledge, everything else. And the Living Course is what did it for me. It's got me to understand.
Do you know him, Hector?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Hector, I was there when Hector was there, and Hector said, yeah, my family isn't close. And then Hector brought in like his brothers and sisters, and then his parents, and then his grandparents. And I'm like, this started like a little ripple in the water, and now it's a wave.
Yeah, and what happens, when you said it, if we were beaten as kids, well, there's a lot of people that go through the Living Course and they'll sit there and they had none of that. But then as they sit there for those 3 days, they realize, oh my gosh, this happened and that happened. So Anastasia, Go ahead. Carrie, thank you for speaking to that. That's in the Google Docs. The next course is coming up September 15th. I will be an angel there because for those of you new on the call, the Living Course, there's 18, 19, 20 people in a circle, 3 therapists, go into every detail, every depth to find out these root causes of why we're blocked, why we don't have health, wealth, and, because I say, if you didn't know who you were, you would be happy, wealthy, and wise. There's no question about it. George told a story yesterday in Brian Tracy's book, a woman who got amnesia, who had had a horrible life before that, but after amnesia, where her life took off. Interesting. So Anastasia, go ahead. Go ahead,
15 days of therapy. It's 15 years of therapy in 2.5 days.
Yep. Thank you for speaking to that. That's in the doc, by the way. Oh, by the way, what I was ready to say, so these 18 people that go, all the volunteers that have been through there, like myself, you go back free. It's $895 for the entire weekend. You go back free, but you come back as an angel, right? So Anastasia, you would love that. Angels, voices of angels. So go ahead, you have your hand up, Anastasia.
Yes, first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for hosting this call. It's and you brought up this a few times that you think it's about business, but we are talking about mindset. But this is about that you will be successful and let yourself to be successful as much as in a proportion of how much you let yourself to be and to forgive yourself and accept the abundance that's come to this world with you. And that's actually number one work that we all need to be doing is teach ourselves and teach our bodies first, because our bodies is a subconscious mind. How does it feel? How does it feel to be happy? So I just wanted to share how important their morning routine is. And the morning routine is physical happiness, emotional and mental happiness. So it's always exercise, it's always meditation with positive visualization, and it's always writing work where you write down your vision for life. Those 3 things, it's been my core for everything. So I just wanted to share that quickly because this work is incredible and there is nothing happened without this work.
You know what I had to say? Yeah, you're welcome. And I want to read a text to you that I sent to somebody that's very near and dear. you know, and this is right directly from A Course in Miracles. Heaven offers you thanks as I said, as I do also, because A Course says that we don't realize we're connected to our source, right? And that it offers us thanks all the time, but we don't hear that thanks that the universe is offering us or God's offering us because we don't believe it, that we are the great I am, just like he is, or whatever your source is. But I believe I am a part of the great I am. We all are. We're all the same. None of us are different. But here's what I said, heaven offers you thanks as I do also, because it's someone who's cut me totally off and blah, 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 everything else. As I do also. In the lesson that particular day was, I am not a body, I am as God created me, which is that right side, right? That's the lesson. And I said, neither are you, because what they're doing is not really them. It's their ego side that's doing it, right? I am not a body, neither are you. And I said, I am not, because there's a business conflict and everything else. I am not a business. I am not rev share. I am not money. I am not debt. I am not success. I am not failure. I am not a somebody. I am not a nobody. I am not an anybody. I am as God created me, love. And so are you. You are free from attack. You just don't know it. So was your father, your grandfathers, your grandmothers, Tony V, which is a dear friend, Aunt Shirley, which was my sister, because this was a family member, Sandy, my daughter, who passed away at 36, even though she had her struggles, who would never pass away had she not been a smoker, probably. So, and all who have walked and who are currently walking this earth together today, including you and I. But the problem is we just don't know it because of all the BS, belief systems and bullshit, which programmed our souls, our mind, will, and emotions. Blessings. And I mentioned his name. And I'm going to start coming public with this because it's a family member. He's a team member. And I have no problem with this because love is all about truth and real. And this is not him. He's cut me totally off. And it is my nephew. And therefore I came public with it. I said, blessings, Tony. I love you. Just like you, Tony, in all your life, I have done for others, because he has too. I know who he really is. He's just acting out of the child, right? I have loved you and will always love you with all my heart, and only had your back all your life, your father's back, mother's back, sister's back, and the world's back. All good and only from pure love. All of our pain and failures and conflicts are only due to one thing, not having our own backs with the same love we have given to others. Because we think we are just bodies and not good enough. No self-love and no respect for self and no self-demands, discipline of mind and body that Chris just talked about, because we only see ourselves as physical bodies. We switch hourly. I'm a somebody. No, wait, no. I am a nobody. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, wait a minute. And the ultimate sadness, I just wish I could just be an anybody else except myself. As a little girl, 5 years old, recently told her mother, she could not do the same because she couldn't do the same physical activities because of her size. She looked around at the other kids. She said, Mommy, I wish I was one of those other kids instead of me as my body. We learned this bullshit. We learned this BS early. Tony, join me in saving the world from BS this Wednesday at 8:30. I have 2 international guests on the call, one who spent 21 years in prison due to BS, and her other sibling, a brother, abandoned her for an entire 21 years and had nothing to do with her. Because of her staying the course of love, he has come back in her life and just surprised her last week with her own house and car, all paid for in cash. Love wins again. I love you, and I hate to admit it, but miss you talking at me. That's a little joke, but a little bit of humor. Hope to see you Wednesday. Well, I'm going to ask you all to do me a favor. Help me save the world. Help me save my nephew. Help me save our relationship. Please text Tony DeFalco and tell him your uncle loves you with all his heart. Please get out of the ego. Come to the soul. You know who you are. You know how big you are. It's not good for you and for your family. And it's not good for us. We're all a team here. It has been now about 2 months. When he told me to F off, never contact him again. Someone that I've been with all my life. Now, Is he bad? No, he's a loving human being. He feeds the poor. He loves his kids. The best single father I've ever met on this planet. Did I bring this up out of ego? Absolutely not. I'm bringing it out of love. I'm using the weapon of love to rescue him from his ego, because that's where he is right now. And that's not him. That's not the real Tony DeFalco. Okay. So please text my nephew for me. Say your uncle loves you dearly. What a great call we had. Everyone loves you. You're the best. He lost all that weight that Chris lost, but he's put it back on. You wonder why? Because he hasn't yet learned that ego will always keep you there until you really, truly stop attacking, stop defending, stop attacking, stop defending, which it took me, by the way, 63 years until I went to the living course, didn't realize why. I didn't realize why I climbed to the top and became a multimillionaire. It was all to prove to the world I was good enough. That's all it was. And what destroyed me was thinking I wasn't good enough to be there and stay there. So anyway, folks, this is big stuff. It's fun stuff. It's real stuff. It's life. And when you remember our chart, right? And I'm going to finish with this, and then whoever wants to stay on that, you got to remember. Just stick with me one more minute. I got to show you this because I have a question, a serious question, because I want to know if there is anyone on the call, because I need to talk to you if you believe this. Isn't this our real life? Isn't this our real life? We have to get radical about love. We have to get radical about love. Is there anyone on the call that's going to skip this? If you are, please call me. I need you. I need you. So wherever you are, it's okay. You are who you are. You are exactly as God created you, that right side. What that left side is, that the world created. All your BS. So is there anybody on the call? Just let me check the showing of hands. Anybody not going to, and not going to, do you have a way out? I think the statistic 100%, right? I checked lately. I think it's 100%. So don't we have to get serious about love, right? I'm going to be, especially since my other mentee, my dear friend, my sister, who couldn't be on the call because of her own protection, who went to hell for 21 years, and then stayed in hell even after she was released from the steel bars, but now free, really truly understanding love always wins. That probably was, watch out. Many of you know that one of my major goals in life, you have to set a goal so big, you have to become the person to achieve it. My goal is to become the Martin Luther of religion and set my people free. And my goal is, the ultimate goal is the Nobel Peace Prize in 2035. My last granddaughter was born. She was brand baby 4 years ago. I set that goal one morning going through A Course in Miracles. And I said, I know who I am. I know what I need to do because, of a belief system. So anyway, thank you all for being a part of this journey with me. You have given me so much over these 2.5 years, forcing me to keep coming back and being so hard-headed and not listening, so I don't give up. and you keep helping me heal so much. I appreciate you. So anyway, anybody else? Come on, let's go. Anybody else? Sunny.
I have a question. You said you want us to text your nephew. What's
yes, 561-352-6759. 561-352-6759. All in love, right? Because this is all what it's about. And he is such a loving human being. It's incredible of the things he's done. And here he went through a childhood of a father, mother, drugs and all the other stuff. Not anything to be ashamed of. It just was reality. His father couldn't handle it at 48 years old and hung himself. He could not handle any more of it. So he's never really come to fruition. I want him to get to the living course. And I love him with all my heart. And you know what? We're a village, folks. It takes a village. So love upon him, love him, love him, love him.
Is this the one that's in EXP?
Yeah, he's my business partner. So anyway, but I'm glad that happened. Thank you for helping me. I love you all. And go ahead, anybody else that we haven't heard from yet? After party.
Okay, I'll go ahead and cut
There you
this.
go.